wanted to see what priests were like up close all the time. So the only time I really saw a priest was on Sundays. But when I grew up, we still had the Latin liturgy. The Mass was in Latin, with the priest at his back to the congregation. And I remember being very, very impressed with that. It just seemed to me otherworldly, very reverent, very holy, and I was intrigued by the Latin liturgy at the time. The smells and bells, we used to call it, with the incense flowing and the bells ringing. And I was very much fascinated by that, and I was kind of attracted to that in a way. And that went, I think, all through high school. Even when I was in high school, I had the thoughts, I wonder what it'd be like to be a priest, And then in the second thought, I'd say, no, I'm not that holy. I don't think I could deal with that. I was stationed at a finance office in Würzburg, Germany. And so my first leave I took, a friend and I went to Rome, Italy for Easter one year. This is when Paul VI was the Pope. And that just again, fascinated me something. The blessed apostles and all the saints who have pleased you throughout the ages, we may merit to be co-heirs to eternal life. I was working in Davenport, Iowa at the time, at a Perkins Cake and Steak. And across the river in Rock Island at St. Joseph's Church was Father Jack Reel. I called him up one day. I said, you got some time? I'd like to talk with you. He said, okay, so we set a date. And I drove around the block where St. Joseph's Church sat about 3 times. I didn't have the, I was just saying, what? He's going to think I'm crazy. He's going to think I'm nuts. I couldn't stop my car, so I finally said, this is crazy. I got to stop. So I stopped the car, went up, knocked on the door. He said, come in. We sat and chatted for a while. And I said to him, he said, Jack, I'm thinking about the priesthood. Really? He said, oh, I'm so relieved. I thought you maybe had a drinking problem or something. Yeah, and I remember one comment he made to me at that time was, you have to love the Eucharist, because the Eucharist is the heartbeat of the church. It's the heartbeat of the church. And I said, yeah, I can see myself saying Mass sometimes. But I walked out of his office thinking, I'll never last. I'll be over the wall. So that fall I started. Stayed 6 years. Loved every minute of it. I was ordained a priest at St. Mary's Cathedral in Peoria, May 24th, 1986. The biggest challenge is loneliness. And I find that's a hard challenge. There's times that I'm at the house and I'm thinking, oh, I'd love to go to this play or go to this movie or something, but there's nobody to go with. And there's times, Steve, when I'm at that pulpit preaching and I'm thinking, oh, this is going about as far over the front of this pulpit and dribbling right down the front. And then somebody will come up later on and say, Father, that was great, what you said. That somehow what you said touched them. Maybe not everybody, but things like that happen. And one of my biggest thrills that I enjoy doing is hearing confessions. When I'm sitting here across from someone whom I think, as I listen to their deepest, darkest selves, that gosh, they're a lot holier than I am. And I think that's a grace God gives us. It humbles us. And I think to myself, if he can work with me as I am now, then he must be happy with me.